Welcome, dear students. So, in this class, we are going to start the unit number 3, Special Purpose Machine Tools. So, in this unit, we are going to discuss two different chapters. Chapter 1 in Special Purpose Machine Tools and Chapter 2 about the gear manufacturing. So, in the first chapter, Special Purpose Machine Tools, the following machines we are going to discuss about their constructional features and working principle and applications. That is for the shaper machine, for the planer machine, for milling machine, and for the drilling machine we are going to discuss. So in the second chapter, we are going to study about the various gear generation processes. So what are all the processes to manufacture the gears? So as you know, gear is a very important machine element used in all the machines. So through the methods gear milling, gear generation, gear shaping, and gear hobbing, how the gears are manufactured, we are going to discuss in the second chapter. And let me to start the first topic in the first chapter, that is shaper machine. So in this topic we are going to study the constructional features of the shaper machine and its operating principle and the quick return mechanism concept in shaper. So the quick return mechanism is a important concept in a shaper machine and a planer machine, which always reducing the time required for overall machining process. And by different mechanisms the quick return is achieved in the shaper and planer machine. So how, what are all the different types of quick return mechanisms used and how they are working, these things we are going to study. Let me to start from the concept of a shaper machine. So shaper machine is a special purpose machine tool used to produce flat surfaces horizontally or vertically or sometimes in inclined manner. So in this way we can prepare the flat surfaces through a shaper machine. And here the operating is followed by a single point cutting tool. We are going to use a single point cutting tool, and that single point cutting tool is going to reciprocate over the workpiece to remove the stock. So when the tool is reciprocates over the workpiece, during the forward stroke only material is going to be removed, and during the return stroke there is no material removal is happen. And if in a single pass it is removing some material, so after it's coming return, the workpiece itself feed in the direction perpendicular to the feed movement. So the next set of width is going to be removed during the next forward stroke of the tool movement. So this is nothing but the tool movement, and that is nothing but the feed movement. So after the completion of each cycle, that is a forward stroke and a return idle stroke, we need to move the table in order to move the workpiece to be cut in the next forward stroke. So this is nothing but the basic material removal concept of a shaper machine. So these are all the various types of surfaces can be produced by using the shaper machine. We can produce flat surface, slots, dovetail slots, and inclined surface, flat surface, and V block slots. These are all the possible surfaces can be produced by using the shaping operation. And the tool head of the shaper machine is loaded with the tool, and during the forward stroke only we are removing the material, and during the return stroke the tool little bit elevated in some inclined manner in order to avoid the damage of the tool tip during the return stroke. This is achieved by the clapper box lifting. So when you are going to see the video tutorial or animation of the shaper machine operation, you will come to know the exact duty of the clapper box. So this is the concept of material removal in the shaper machine. Now let me to give you idea about what are all the basic parts, principal parts of the shaper machine. So this is actually the view of the shaper machine. Before discussing the every each and every linkages and the detailed view of the diagrams, first we have to have the idea of the shaper machine. What are all the various basic components and what is their duty and what are all the possible movements for them. So when you consider, the base is the strong casting in the shaper machine. which is prepared with heavy cast iron, and it is used to bear all the loads during the operation as well as during the static condition of the shaper machine. And the column is again a box type hollow casting made up of cast iron, which is used to house the ram driving mechanism inside it. The quick return mechanism is housed inside the column. So this is nothing but the ram, which is located in the rail produced in the top surface of the column. In the top surface of the column we are having a bedway. A rail is there. In the rail the ram is fixed to slide in front and backward direction, so which is considered as the cutting stroke and return stroke. So in the one end of the ram we are having the tool head. So the tool head is able to move in vertical direction by rotating the wheel provided in the tool head. So in front of the tool head we fixed the single point cutting tool to remove the stock from the workpiece. The workpiece is clamped with the help of a vise, and the vise is fixed in the T slots of the table. So this is nothing but the table of your shaper machine. Above the table we are having T slots, number of T slots, which will facilitate to clamp your vise. So above the vise we are fixing the job, and during the table is able to move in vertical direction by adjusting the elevating screws. And the same time during the cutting operation, as you already know, the ram is moving in front and backward direction. So during the front movement, that is the forward movement, material is removed from the workpiece, and during the return stroke there is no removal of material. When it is completely returned into its original position, immediately the table will be moved in this direction, the direction perpendicular to the ram movement. The table is moved in this direction to make the workpiece ready for the next cut. So this will repeated until the entire surface, top surface or the required surface of the workpiece to be cut. So these are all the various basic parts of the shaper machine, and these are all the various roles of each and every part. You have to be very clear on the various possible movements of each components. The ram is able to move front and back. The tool head is able to move up and down. This up and down movement of the tool head is given in order to give the depth of cut, or in order to fix the very close or minimum range of depth of cuts. And the table movement is also given for the feed after the cutting of a successful flat surface. So if the entire flat surface is machined, the table is used to lift in upper direction to prepare the next cut, and feed is given by the horizontal movement of the table. And like the lathe machine, here also you can specify the shaper machine. So already you know, the specification of any machine is very important in order to addressing a machine, or in order to identify the machine, or in order to purchase the machine. So in the case of the shaper machine, these are all the various parameters very important to specify the shaper machine. That is the maximum length of the stroke in mm. That is nothing but how much maximum length the ram can be traveled. This is nothing but maximum length of the stroke. And one more point I want to add here, you can adjust the travel distance of the ram during the cutting stroke and return stroke. However, the travel distance of forward stroke and return stroke in a particular arrangement is same always. You can increase or decrease the travel distance for your requirement. It can be achieved by ram travel stroke arrangement system. So this is important specification of the shaper machine. And then the size of the table, that is the table length, width and depth. These are all the three important dimensions to specify the table. And maximum horizontal and vertical travel of the table, not only the size of the table, how much the table can be travel in vertical direction and horizontal direction, it is also the parameter needed to specify when you are going to specify the length. especially the shaper, and the maximum number of strokes per minute. So number of strokes per minute is nothing but how many cuts can be possible in this machine in maximum. This can be controlled by adjusting the speed of the driving motor. If the motor speed is very high, the forward and return stroke speed is very high, within a minute you can cut maximum level. And if the speed of the motor is slow, the forward and return stroke speed also very slow. So during that time, the material removal rate is also very very low. Why we need to this kind of different stroke timing is in order to other with the type of material and depth of cut. If you are working with a heavy material with very higher depth of cut, you need to use very slow cutting speed. In case of the weak material and in case of the very low depth of cut, you can go for the higher cutting speeds. So in order to adjust the speed, you can control the motor speed with some gearing units. It is also a parameter we need to consider to specify the swiper machine. And then type of quick return mechanism. See, quick return is the important service of the shaper machine. See here, already I have told you, during the machining, the forward stroke of the ram only removing the material, and the return stroke of the ram is not going to remove any material. It is less productive only, and there is no need of higher pressure you need to give during the return stroke. So in the case of this shaper machine, the entire cycle time is the time required for forward stroke and the time required for the return stroke. The productive stroke is only the forward stroke. The return stroke is not a productive stroke. So the machine is designed to consume very less time for moving the ram in the backward direction. Okay, during the forward stroke only our designed speed is followed, and during the return stroke the machine ram is moved with very fast to reach the initial condition, because there is no task need to be completed during the return stroke. So the return stroke is always fast when compared with the forward stroke, in order to minimize the time required for overall machining. So this can be achieved by the quick return mechanism housed inside the column. Variety of quick return mechanisms are available for the shaper machine, like crank and slaughter link mechanism, Whitworth mechanism, hydraulic quick return mechanism, and recently this is controlled by means of some numerical controlled machines also. So this type of quick return mechanism is also the parameter needed to consider during the specification of the shaper. And the power of the driving motor, how much power can be achieved with the driving motor, is also the parameter we need to consider during the selection of our shaper. And then the floor space required, the overall dimension of the floor space required to mount the machine, is also the parameter we need to consider to specify the shaper machine. So by these parameters we can specify the shaper. Keep these things in mind. And then how the shaper machines are classified. Variety of shaper machines are available in the market. Based on our requirement we can purchase any one. So the four parameters are very important to classify the particular type of the shaper machine. The first classification is according to the type of mechanism used for giving reciprocating motion to the ram, that is crank type or geared type or hydraulic type. And according to the type of design of the table. So the table is in which way the table is designed. A two category of tables are available in the shaper generally: standard shaper and universal shaper. Standard shaper table is nothing but the table able to move in vertical direction and in horizontal direction, but the universal shaper table is able to rotate with respect to the horizontal axis. See here, the table in the standard shaper able to move in vertical direction and in horizontal direction, but in the case of the universal shaper the table is able to rotate with respect to the horizontal axis, not into the complete one full revolution, into some extent, in order to cut some inclined surface. So this is nothing but the difference between the standard shaper and universal shaper table. And then according to the position of the travel of ram, that is the horizontal type travel, vertical type travel, traveling head type, these are all the various type of uh, ram travel. So based on that also we can select a shaper machine based on our requirement. And according to the type of cutting stroke, whether the push type or draw type. Push type is nothing but during the forward stroke we are going to remove the material. The forward stroke is considered as cutting stroke. The return stroke is going to be considered as the idle stroke. There is no material removed during the return stroke in case of push type machine. In the case of draw type machine, during the forward stroke it is considered as the idle stroke, and during the return stroke only the material removal will be happen. Simply by changing the face direction of the tool itself we can adjust, and the meanwhile we need to adjust the quick return mechanism arrangement also in order to achieve the return stroke as a cutting stroke and forward stroke as an idle stroke. This is nothing but draw type machine. So these are all the various parameters used to classify the shaper machine. And now let's going to discuss about the various parts of the shaper machine. So see, this is the actually a line diagram of the shaper machine. This part is nothing but the ram of the shaper, and this is nothing but the column which is housed the quick return mechanism and the driving mechanisms of the ram. And this is nothing but your base, and this is your table. And see here, have a close look in this diagram. So this is nothing but the table support, front support. A metal column is there to support the table in the front side, and in the back side you see here the front side of the column is provided with a vertical slide way. A vertical slide way. In this vertical slide way, we fitted a cross slide mechanism. In front of this cross slide mechanism a saddle is there. In that saddle only the table is attached. So this arrangement is used to give a vertical and horizontal movement of the table. See here, this entire table, saddle and cross slide are able to slide in vertical direction by the slide way produced in the front side of the column. This can be achieved by rotating the elevating screw. When you rotate this elevating screw, the table along with the cross slide everything will move in vertical direction, maybe in upward or in downward based on the direction of rotation. And if you want to move the table in horizontal direction, here the cross slide hand wheel is there. By rotating this hand wheel, the table is able to move in horizontal direction, by rotating the cross slide hand wheel. Generally this cross slide hand wheel movement is used for feeding the workpiece towards the cutting tool, and in general it is achieved by some automatic feeding mechanism. The pawl and feed disc is nothing but the automatic feeding mechanism used to automatically move the table in horizontal direction after the successive completion of each cutting and return stroke. So these are all the railways produced for achieving the vertical and horizontal movement of the table. And in front of the ram we are provided with the tool head along with the clapper box. The tool head, as a name implies, it is provided with the tool post which is used to fit the single point cutting tool here. So during the forward stroke it is removing the material, and during the return stroke the clapper box little elevated in this direction to avoid the damage of the tool tip when it is sliding over the machined surface of the workpiece. And by using this downward hand wheel we can give the depth of cut in precise manner. And here one angular scale is also available in order to rotate the tool head with respect to horizontal axis to give an inclined surface cutting. So and then here this hand wheel is used to position the stroke. So here two important functions of the ram are need to be considered: stroke positioning and stroke length. Stroke length adjustment is nothing but how much we need to cover during the forward and return stroke. So the distance covered during the forward stroke is equal to the distance covered during the return stroke. but based on the size of the workpiece, we can adjust the distance traveled during the forward and return stroke. This is nothing but stroke length adjustment. It is achieved by adjusting the quick return mechanism inside the column. I will show how it is happen in the next slides. And this knob is used to adjust the position of the RAM. See, if the workpiece is fitted here, you can first make the starting of the cutting stroke here and ending of the cutting stroke there, and you can machine in this way. If the workpiece is fitted here, then immediately you can move the RAM and set the stroke from this place to that place. In this way, in addition to the length adjustment, you can decide where the stroke need to start and end. This can be achieved by the position of stroke adjustment hand wheel. The screw is available inside the RAM. So these are all the basic parts of the shaper machine. Now let's discuss how the shaper machine is working, how the material removal is happening. See, this is your table and this is your vertical slide way. In the vertical slide way, we are having the cross slide. The cross slide is provided with a dovetail guideway. In this, the table is fitted, and here the front support is missed to shown. Don't worry, just understand the concept. So above the table, the workpiece is fixed with the help of the vise, and this is your RAM. In front of the RAM, we are having the tool head. We are having the tool head, and in the tool head, we fitted the tool, cutting tool, and during the operation, the driving motor is switched on by means of various gearing arrangement. The rotation is given to this bull gear. So this this shaper machine zone is operating with the help of crank and slotted link type quick return mechanism. Let's understand the concept of the working principle by this itself. So when the bull gear, the bigger gear here called as bull gear, is fitted with a slider mechanism. It's fitted with a slider mechanism. That slider is able to slide inside the slide way provided in the crank. So this is nothing but the slotted lever. The slotted lever. The slotted lever, as the name implies, is provided with a slot way in it. So here a slider is attached. So one slider is attached inside the slot of the crank. Another slider is attached with the bull gear. These two sliders are connected with the help of a Cudgeon pin. So this pin is called as Cudgeon pin. When the bull gear rotates, the slider will slide inside the slotted lever. So because of this sliding, the lever will oscillate in back and forth. In this way, the lever will oscillate. So the rotation of the bull gear now converted into oscillations in the slotted lever. The slotted lever's one end is fitted with the base. This is nothing but the pivot. Based with respect to that pivot only, the crank will going to oscillate. And another end of the crank is connected with the connecting rod, which is further connect the slotted link into the RAM. So when the crank oscillates, this will provide the linear reciprocations in the RAM of the shaper machine. The shaper RAM is already connected with the slide way provided above the column. So the RAM is able to move in front and back direction. So during the cutting stroke, the material is, that is the forward stroke, the material is removed. During the return stroke, there is no removal of material happen. So in this way, continuously the bull gear will rotate, the slotted lever will oscillate, and the RAM will reciprocate to remove the material. In this way, the shaper machine is working. And now have a close look on the tool head of the shaper. As I told, this is nothing but the clapper boss. This swivel base is used to rotate the tool head with respect to horizontal axis with certain degrees in both direction. And this is the handle for downfeed to give the some depth of cut in level. This is the feed direction of the workpiece. This is your workpiece, and that's your tool, and the tool is fixed with the tool head. This is nothing but the tool post, and that is nothing but the clapper box, which will elevate up to some angle during the return stroke to safeguard the tool tip. And what are all the various types of quick return mechanisms are used in the shaper machine? Generally, three different type of quick return mechanisms are available: crank and slotted link quick return mechanism, Whiteworth quick return mechanism, and a hydraulic quick return mechanism. In our context, we are going to discuss the crank and slotted link quick return mechanism and the hydraulic quick return mechanism. First, let's have a look on the crank and slotted link quick return mechanism. Here you see the diagram is already shown to you. This is nothing but your bull gear. This is nothing but your bull gear. Inside the bull gear, we are having a slide. We are having the slide. So in this slot, the inside of the slot in the bull gear is considered as the slide way. Here we are having the slider. A sliding block is available, which is fitted with the slot of the bull gear, and one more slider is able to slide inside the slot of the rocker arm. This is nothing but the slotted rocker arm. Inside that, one slider is there. Another slide is fitted with the slide way of the bull gear. These two sliding blocks are connected with the crank pin, which is in some articles called as the Cudgeon pin. Okay, and this your slotted lever, it is fitted with this part. It is nothing but the O pivoted part. When you start rotating this bull gear by rotating the pinion, this pinion is nothing but connected with the driving motor, and this is your bull gear. It is rotates in this direction. This is your tool tip. This forward movement is considered as cutting stroke, and this backward movement is cutting as return stroke. Okay, keep this in mind. And this link arm is used to connect the rocker arm and the ram of the shaper. Okay, when the bull gear rotates, this rotation will be converted into oscillations in the rocker arm, and the oscillations of the rocker arm further transferred as the linear reciprocations in the ram of your shaper. And this hand wheel is used to adjust the stroke, and this ram clamping lever is used to fix a particular stroke distance. And this screw bevel gears are used to adjust the stroke length. So by rotating this bevel gear, you can move the slider of the bull gear in forward and return direction. If you move the slider of the bull gear far away from the center of your bull gear, the stroke length will be increased because the radius r will be increased. Radius r will be increased. Radius r is nothing but the distance between the center of the bull gear to the center of the slider of the bull gear. Slider of the bull gear. So when you increase this distance, automatically the oscillation distance of the rocker arm will be increased. This increment in oscillation distance will increase the stroke length of your shaper machine. So when you reduce the distance between the center of the bull gear and the slider of the bull gear, a very minimum radius only covered here. So the rocker arm will oscillate with very low travel distance only. This will reduce the stroke length to be followed in the ram of the shaper. So the distance can be adjusted by using this bevel gears. In this way, you can adjust the length of the stroke, and see how the quick return is achieved in this mechanism. As you know, by rotating the bull gear, we can oscillate the rocker arm, and thereby we can move the ram in the linear reciprocation. So during the forward stroke, see the position of the slider. If you start the slider from this position, that is from this position up to that position, during a complete rotation of the bull gear, the position of the slider from this to that will cover the forward stroke. And during the return of the slider, the return of the ram, the distance traveled by the slider of the bull gear and slotted link is this much. So for this entire full one revolution, we are rotating the bull gear with a constant speed only. But the angle covered during the forward stroke is higher than the angle covered during the return stroke. This will reduce the time required for completing the return stroke. See here, in order to complete a single forward stroke, the slider need to move this much distance. In order to complete the same return stroke distance, the slider needed to cover this very minimum of coverage only. So because of this, during the return stroke, the ram is able to move very fast than during the forward stroke. So in this way, the crank and started link quick return mechanism is used to obtain the quick return during the return stroke. So this is what our requirement. So this C1 and C2 are nothing but position of the rocker arm during the extreme return and extreme forward. So when the rocker arm is in C1 position, and this is nothing but the extreme return. When the rocker arm is in C2 position, this is nothing but extreme forward position. So in this way only the rocker arm need to oscillate, but the slider is rotating. The slider is rotating. During the forward stroke, the slider need to cover alpha angle, and with the same speed it need to cover the beta angle during the return stroke. The rotation speed of the slider is constant. Due to that constant rotation only, the time required for covering the return stroke is very minimum when compared with the forward stroke, because the angle during the forward stroke and the return stroke are different. And this is a short video which you will give you some idea about how the quick return is achieved during the uh, forward return stroke in the crank and slot quick return mechanism. Sorry. See here, let me to show the important parts of the video only here. See, this is the photographic view of the bull gear. See, the bull gear is provided with a slot. This is nothing but bull gear slide. Inside that, a block is here. A box like block is here. This block is nothing but bull gear sliding block. So this is nothing but the crank pin. Here one more block is going to be connected. It is not shown in this view. Actually one more slider is connected here. That slider is able to slide inside the slot of the crank slider crank. Okay, and this is your lead screw. So this is your lead screw. See, this is the view, and when you rotate the bull gear, this will make the rock arm oscillate, and the oscillation of the rock arm will be converted into the linear motion of your ram. So this is actually explained in this video, not with any animation, just you can understand with the pictures itself. See here, extreme backward condition of the ram, extreme forward condition of the ram. So the angle covered by the slider during the forward stroke is higher when you compare with the angle covered by the slider during the return stroke. So the return stroke is achieved within very less time. So this is explained in the words of this video tutorial. And then we can go for discussing about the hydraulic quick return mechanism. The hydraulic quick return mechanism operating principle is completely based on the hydraulic cylinder principle. Here there is no need of using a crank, a slaughter link, or a bull gear. See, the ram of your shaper is connected with a hydraulic cylinder's piston. Okay, this is nothing but the hydraulic cylinder. I hope you know what is the working principle of a hydraulic cylinder. So the hydraulic cylinders are able to move front and back by introducing the high pressure hydraulic liquid inside the cylinder, and due to the pressure of the hydraulic liquid, the ram will be moved in backward and forward. It is actually a double acting cylinder. It is actually a double acting cylinder. Both upper opening and lower openings are available, and this side of the hydraulic cylinder here, it is called as the piston end. So it is piston end, and this side is called as rod end. This is rod end and the piston end. Both ends are provided with the openings, and the rod of the piston is connected with the ram of your shaper. So this is a four-way valve, and this is your hydraulic pump. It's a tank used to store the hydraulic liquid. During the operation, the pump will collect the hydraulic liquid and pumping it into the circuit. This is nothing but the flow control valve. By using this flow control valve, we can adjust the flow rate of the hydraulic liquid. The flow rate of the hydraulic liquid will define what is the speed of reciprocation of the ram. So the speed of the ram can be controlled by the flow rate. So with a constant flow rate, first you need to fix the flow control valve, and the hydraulic liquid will come and introduced inside the four-way valve. This four-way valve is used to manage the direction of fluid flow into the rod end and the piston end. And there is a overload relief valve is there. It is actually called as the high pressure relief valve. If any unnecessary back pressure is created inside the system due to any unnecessary backlog or anything, the pressure will be released, the liquid will be released into the sump in order to safeguard the parts. And see, the during the forward stroke, for example, the ram is needed to move from left to right. This is nothing but the forward stroke. During the forward stroke, the ram is moved to left to right. For that movement, the four-way valve will allow the hydraulic liquid in this opening into the piston end. So here the liquid will come and start to fill the cylinder. So because of the pressure of the liquid, the piston will move in this direction, which will make the ram to move from left to right. After reaching the position this of the piston, the thing will be reversed. So this is achieved by this trip dog. This is called as the pilot valve or trip dog. So this trip dogs will touch this switch. So if the switch is touched by this trip torque at the extreme forward condition of your ram, the trip torque will control or reverse the four-way valve direction. So automatically what will happen? The four-way valve will supply the liquid through this end and get back the liquid from that end. So now the rod end of the cylinder is started to fill with the liquid, and due to the this flow direction, the piston need to move from right to left. This is considered as the return stroke of the ram. So in this way, first understand how the linear reciprocation of the ram is achieved by this liquid flow. When you introduce the liquid into the piston end, the ram will move in the forward direction. When you reverse it, that is when you introduce the liquid into the rod end and returning the liquid from the piston end, the ram will move from right side to left side. It is achieved. And how the quick return is achieved here is, see, the flow rate of the hydraulic fluid is constant during all the times. But see here, in case of the hydraulic cylinder, this is nothing but the piston end. Already I have told you, this is nothing but the rod end. When you consider the volume of liquid need to fill when you introduce it into the rod end is very minimum when compared with the piston end, because there is no presence of the rod in the piston side. If you start to fill the liquid from this side, there is no presence of rod, and the volume required for filling the cylinder is high. More amount of liquid needed to fill during the forward stroke, and during the return stroke, due to the presence of the rod, because the rod again occupies some space in the cylinder, inside the cylinder. So for the constant fluid flow, within very short of time you can fill the entire bore of the hydraulic cylinder. Due to that fast filling, the piston will move with very high speed during the return stroke. So because of this phenomena, during the forward stroke, slow filling is happened. This will leads to the slow forward stroke, and during the return stroke, fast filling is happened because of the less available volume. This will leads to the fast return of the ram. So in this way, the hydraulic quick return mechanism is operated in this shaper machine. So these are all the things I plan to discuss with you about the shaper machine. Thank you very much for listening. In the next class, we will discuss about the next topic.